that?
This is Michael Faulkner, and it's showtime, the November 29th, 2011 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you by the Chronic Rift. Let's start out with the last weekend's box office results, starting with number 10 and Tower Heist, down 4 from 6th. At number 9 is Descendants, bumping up 1 from last week as it enters wider release. In 8th place is Puss in Boots, dropping 3 from 5th. Puss in Boots has become one of the most successful movies in the Russian market with a debut of $15 million and a current total of $47 million. In 7th we find Immortals, plummeting 4 from 3rd. At 6th is Jack and Jill, slipping 2 spots from last week's 4th. In 5th place is new release Hugo, taking in $11.4 million over the normal weekend, with $15.4 million total over the 5-day Thanksgiving weekend. In odd trivia, this is director Martin Scorsese's 3rd highest debut ever, behind Shutter Island and The Departed. In 4th place is new release Arthur Christmas, starting its run with $12 million on the weekend, with a 5-day total of $16.3 million. That's the lowest ever for an Aardman Animations release. In 3rd place is Happy Feet 2, down 1 from last week's 2nd. The Penguins took in $13.4 million over the weekend and $18.7 million over the holiday for a total of $43.8 million. In 2nd is new release The Muppets, lighting the lights to a debut of $29.2 million and a total of $42 million. The Muppets premieres lower than past Disney Thanksgiving entries Tangled at $68.7 million and Enchanted at $49.1 million. However, in consideration with the previous Muppet outings, the debut is a huge accomplishment. The movie eclipsed the total of all previous Muppet movies except for 1979's The Muppet Movie. In 1st place, The Vampires Held. This week's winner is The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1, with another $41.7 million and a 5-day holiday take of $61.8 million. The film's total stands at $220.8 million. The Vamps also topped the foreign box office for the 2nd straight weekend, with an estimated $71.5 million from 68 markets. The December 2nd new release slate is kind of sparse, but it begins with Shame, a drama starring Michael Fassbender, Carey Mulligan, and James Badge Dale. In New York City, Brandon's carefully cultivated private life, which allows him to indulge his sexual addiction, is disrupted when his sister Sissy arrives unannounced for an indefinite stay. Shame is rated NC-17 for nudity and explicit sexual content. In limited release, we have Outrage, also known as Outrage, a crime drama from Japan, starring Takeshi Kitano, Keippei Shina, and Ryo Kasi. The boss of a major crime syndicate orders his lieutenant to bring a rogue gang of drug traffickers in line, a job that gets passed on to his long-suffering subordinate. Outrage is rated R. And the final film on our slate is Kinyarwanda, a romantic drama starring Cleophas Kabasita, Aditya Zaninka, and Mark Wamaka. A young Tutsi woman and a young Hutu man fall in love amidst chaos. A soldier struggles to foster a greater good while absent from her family, and a priest grapples with his faith in the face of an unspeakable horror. Kinyarwanda is not rated. Moving on to the November 29th home entertainment slate, we begin with The Smurfs, an adventure comedy starring Hank Azaria, Katy Perry, and Jonathan Winters. When the evil wizard Gargamel chases the tiny blue Smurfs out of their village, they tumble from their magical world into New York City. The Smurfs is rated PG. Next up is Friends with Benefits, a romantic comedy starring Mila Kunis, Justin Timberlake, and Patricia Clarkson. While trying to avoid the cliches of Hollywood romantic comedies, Dylan and Jamie soon discover that adding the act of sex to their friendship does lead to complications. Friends with Benefits is rated R. Next on our list is The Cave of Forgotten Dreams, a historical documentary starring Werner Herzog, Dominique Baffier, and John Klotz. Werner Herzog gains exclusive access to film inside the Chauvet Caves of southern France, capturing the oldest known pictorial creations of humankind in their astonishing natural setting. Cave of Forgotten Dreams is rated G. Next we move into sports with 7 Days in Utopia, a sports drama starring Lucas Black, Robert Duvall, and Melissa Leo. After a disastrous debut on the pro circuit, a young golfer finds himself unexpectedly stranded in Utopia, Texas, and welcomed by an eccentric rancher. 7 Days in Utopia is rated G. Next is One Day, a romantic drama starring Anne Hathaway, Jim Sturgis, and Patricia Clarkson. After spending the night together on the night of their college graduation, Dexter and Em are shown each year on the same date to see where they are in their lives. They are sometimes together, and sometimes not on that day. One Day is rated PG-13. Next we have 30 Minutes or Less, an action comedy starring Jesse Eisenberg, Danny McBride and Nick Swartzen. Two fledgling criminals kidnap a pizza delivery guy, strap a bomb to his chest, and inform him that he has mere hours to rob a bank, or else. 30 minutes or less is rated R. Next is Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, a comedy horror film starring Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, and Katrina Bowden. Tucker and Dale are on vacation in their dilapidated mountain cabin when they're attacked by a group of preppy college kids. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is rated R. Next we move to Another Earth, a sci-fi drama starring Britt Marling, William Mapother, and Matthew Lee Earlbach. On the night of the discovery of a duplicate planet in the solar system, an ambitious young student and an accomplished composer cross paths in a tragic accident. Another Earth is rated PG-13. And the new release slate winds out with Our Idiot Brother, a dramatic comedy starring Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, and Zooey Deschanel. Our Idiot Brother is centered on an idealist who barges into the lives of his three sisters. Our Idiot Brother is rated R. Moving right along to TV on DVD, we start with Smallville. This week we have two entries, the complete series and Season 10, starring Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, and Erica Durance. After a meteor shower bursts from the heavens, raining destruction on the unsuspecting citizens of Smallville, years pass, and the healing process leaves the town's inhabitants with scars and secrets. From the ashes of tragedy, a popular yet awkward teen attempts to decipher the meaning of his life and his clouded past. As he struggles with the transition from boyhood to adulthood, Clark finds that his strength and strange abilities set him uncomfortably apart from his peers. This groundbreaking 10-season hit that redefined the origins of the world's greatest hero is all here, from his arrival on Earth through his tumultuous teen years to Clark Kent's final steps toward embracing his destiny as the Man of Steel. Relive a decade's worth of thrills across 218 episodes in a spectacular 62-disc set that includes 2 bonus discs of additional special features. And if you've been collecting the season since it came out, Season 10 is available today on DVD and Blu-ray. Next, we have 30 Rock Season 5, starring Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, Tracy Morgan, and Jane Krakowski. Heralded as funny by some random Twitter user, and a bitterly merry comic jihad against corporate stupidity and mendaciousness by Glenn Garvin of the Miami Herald, which is pretty much what the Twitterer said in 140 characters or less, the complete 5th season of the Primetime Emmy and Golden Globe award-winning comedy 30 Rock is now available. Tina Fey stars as showrunner Liz Lemon, and Alec Baldwin as corporate executive Jack Donaghy in this behind-the-scenes romp about a sketch show, TGS, and its neurotic stars. Brought to you by the folks at GE Cabletown, it's a season of video obituaries, cross-dressing love, page showdowns, Canadian births, and other strange events in 22 blurg-worthy episodes from executive producer Lorne Michaels. Next, we move into revival territory with Mission Impossible, the 1988 TV season, starring Peter Graves, Theo Penglis, Bob Johnson, and Jane Badler. After the original series ended its 1966 to 1973 run, the concept was renewed for 3 years, starting in 1988. In this revival, after his protege is killed, Jim Phelps is called out of retirement and asked to form a new team to track down the killer. His team consists of Nicholas Black, a disguise expert, Max Hart, the tough guy, Casey Randall, the obligatory female operative, and Grant Collier, the son of Barney Collier, the original technology expert.
Looks good in S1. Roger. ACS arm switch is on. Okay, Victor. Landing rocket arm switch is on. Here comes the throttle. Circuit breakers in. We have separation. Inboard and outboards are on. Coming forward with the side stick. Looks good. Roger. I've got a blowout. Stay for 3. Get your pitch to 0. Pitch is out. I can't hold altitude. Direction. Alpha mode is on. Prep selectors. Emergency. Flight Tom, I can't hold it. She's breaking up. She's breaking.
Steve Austin, astronaut. A man barely alive.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man. Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
And TV on DVD rounds out with The $6 Million Man, Season 1, starring Richard Anderson, Lee Majors, and Martin E. Brooks. Previously injured in a crash of an experimental aircraft, Colonel Steve Austin's shattered body is covertly rebuilt via the miracle of modern science known as bionics. Equipped with atomic-powered limbs that make him better, stronger, and faster than the average mortal, Austin can now run at speeds exceeding 60 miles per hour, overturn cars with ease, and spot an encroaching enemy from over a mile away. Under the watchful eye of OSI director Oscar Goldman, Steve repays his debts to the taxpayers by taking on perilous missions of a highly classified nature. Armed with futuristic abilities, Austin is dispatched to do battle with kidnappers, armed smugglers, evil scientists, political assassins, and a diabolical robot with time enough to spare to counsel a troubled astronaut and clear his dead father's name. Relive the thrill of Steve's first bionic run in the digitally remastered 6th DVD set featuring 13 uncut episodes, all 3 made-for-TV movies in the original unedited versions, and over 2 hours of never-seen-before bonus materials. If you decide to pick up this release, you can relive the adventures or discover them for the first time as John S. Drew and Paul K. Bisson cover each episode of The $6 Million Man and The Bionic Woman on the Cyborgs podcast here on the Chronic Rift. And as always, we round out our home entertainment slate with classics on Blu-ray. Today we have 4 films in one package. It's a Jackie Chan 4-film collection. The collection begins with Jackie Chan's Project A from 1983. In late 19th century Hong Kong, the British may rule the land, but the pirates rule the waters. The Coast Guard is given money to fight these pirates, but the pirates themselves have many contacts, rather bribed officials, in the government. One Coast Guard officer is Dragon Ma, who is determined that his beloved Coast Guard will not be made fools of. Jackie Chan's Project A is rated PG-13. The second in the set is Jackie Chan's Project A2 from 1987. Dragon is now transferred to be the police head of Saiwan District and has to contend with a gangster kingpin, anti-Manchu revolutionaries, some runaway pirates, Manchu loyalists, and a corrupt police superintendent. Jackie Chan's Project A2 is rated PG-13. Number 3 on the list is The Armor of God from 1987. Jackie Chan and his bumbling sidekick are sent on a quest through Europe to find a mysterious treasure held by a shadowy organization of monks. The Armor of God is rated R. And last in this package is Operation Condor from 1991. Agent Jackie is hired to find World War II Nazi gold hidden in the Sahara Desert. He teams up with 3 bundling women who are all connected in some way. Operation Condor is rated PG-13. Today we have 5 items in the Quick Flicks. The Weinstein Company is trying once again to bring a Bionic Man to the silver screen. This round, they have chosen Bryan Singer to direct, and Leonardo DiCaprio to fill the role of Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. Of course, they plan to adjust for inflation, so millions will become billions of this adaptation, therefore the working title is The $6 Billion Man. DiCaprio won't sign on until he's had the chance to read the script, and rumor has it that the film will thankfully be based on Martin Caidin's novel Cyborg, which is the original source material for the 1970s TV shows. If you don't mind a few spoilers, I can tell you how watching Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 can be hazardous to your health. If you're adverse to spoilers, of course, you can skip ahead about a minute or so. So as you probably already know, Breaking Dawn features a rather interesting birth sequence. Bella is somehow or another pregnant with a human-vampire hybrid that is literally killing her. When Bella goes into labor, the beast tries to pull an alien, or if you'd rather, a Spaceballs maneuver, and break its way right out. Edward has to resort to an emergency C-section with his fangs, basically chewing the baby out of Bella. The sequence is shot and edited with the horror of the moment in mind, with strobe lights and rapid cuts. Well, ABC News has reported several instances of people developing in-theater seizures, which are also known as photosensitive epilepsy, and is supposedly linked to the flashing red, black, and white during the scene. While this may not dissuade you from going to see the blockbuster, you've been warned. In the 22 canon James Bond films, 2 actors have played the iconic role of Q, the quartermaster who provides gadgets and comic relief. The late great Desmond Llewellyn is the most famous face of Q, and John Cleese took the role after Llewellyn's final and rather poignant performance in The World Is Not Enough. Director Sam Mendes is adding another name to that list for the upcoming Skyfall, Ben Whishaw, whose resume includes Bright Star, Perfume, the UK TV series The Hour, and Layer Cake. Until now, Wishaw has had an anonymous role in the film, but Q's involvement may mean a return to some of the lighter moments the series has lacked in recent entries. With Sony Pictures delaying Roland Emmerich's film Singularity until November 2013, Paramount has pounced on the hole left in the summer movie schedule. The Star Trek sequel is now slated for a May 17, 2013 release date. The film is reportedly being filmed in 3D, and Abrams' go-to composer Michael Giacchino will return with the score. Plot details and production schedules are still unknown at this point, though the main cast from the first film are set to return. Was that the first film or the 11th? I'm still a little confused about this. I mean, if we ignore Star Trek V, really that makes it the 10th, and then there's always Star Trek Nemesis. In additional date change announcements, the Red Dawn remake has been announced for a November 2nd, 2012 release. This remake of the 1984 cult classic is centered around a group of teenagers looking to save their town from an invasion of North Korean soldiers. The original antagonists were the Soviets when fear and tension during the Cold War were high, and a similar political climate doesn't quite exist today, so I'm rather curious how this dynamic will play out. Red Dawn stars Chris Hemsworth, Isabel Lucas, and Josh Hutcherson, and is rated PG-13. If you would like to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, please take a moment to get in touch. You can surf on over to chronicgriff.com and leave a note in the forums. Leave a voicemail at 888-866-9010 or write to John at chronicgriff.com. You can follow us on Tumblr, tweet us on Twitter, check into the network on GetGlue, or leave us a review on iTunes. The Chronic Rift is now on Stitcher Radio, and you can also find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Rift on Facebook and Google+. We have the technology. We have the capability to provide a network that finds culture in pop culture. The Chronic Rift is that network. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make through the store supports the Chronic Rift. Look for the link in our show notes. The Weekly Podioplex is a collaboration of Creative Criticality and Lucky Shot Productions. This is Michael Faulkner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you at the theater.